The Brutalists, which I thought was a great headline, considering the movie and City Hall is made in the brutalist style architecture. For those of you slow on the uptake, are these two individuals here in their mid-20s. They got in some type of domestic spat over on Hudson Street in Chinatown the other night, which would have been actually early Thursday morning. And Bostonians against Mayor Wu. All credit to that account for breaking this story, which has now gone mainstream. Good job on your part, Bostonians against Mayor Wu. And they've been quoted, or the gentleman's been quoted as, "We both work for the city, ... This is unnecessary." So he pulled the classic, "Do you know who I am?" kind of John Kerry line while being seated in the rear of the police vehicle. And he also apparently said, "She went on a date with my boss." Oh, boy. Both now suspended without pay. No word on the identity of the boss, but it is City Hall, so it will leak soon. Chris Ferrone speculated today that the Herald headline should have been, "Who's the boss?" Because that is kind of like the next domino to fall. You're exactly right, Chris. That is kind of like the next domino to fall in this story. Who is the third person in the love triangle, right? Who's the boss in question? But instead, they went with who did they go with? Lady Gaga. They went with Lady Gaga, "Bad Romance," which also makes sense because, in that "I Want Your Revenge," right, is one of the key lines of that song. City Hall staffers on leave after arrests. "Bad Romance," Boston Herald. I think Chris Ferrone, the whole Tony Danza, "Who's the boss" reference is maybe just a little out of date, I'm guessing. I mean, that goes back to the 80s, and you're showing your age, Chris, even though I think you're younger than I am. What do I know? I've never met Chris Ferrone. All right, so already, Mayor Wu did not want this story getting out. That is crystal clear. And already, when you go over, you can Google her name, Marwa. I think it's Marwa. When you Google her name, you get the boston.gov webpage. And then when you click it, it doesn't even click. It doesn't even click. Let me try his name here. When you click his name, not found. She is already, when you click her name, it just goes to the page that is the general page, but her page, that her like personnel page, is gone. His personnel page is gone because Mayor Wu is kind of like, she wants to get rid of these people from memory as soon as absolutely possible. Fortunately, the internet is forever. And here is Mr. Chulan Huang, if I'm not sure how to pronounce it. He got featured by the Boston Globe. Of course he did. Of course he did. And here's the Boston Globe interview he did about a year ago talking about his visit to China.
My 8th grade summer, right before high school, I went to China and I learned about the Chinese culture, and I grew to really love it. I felt like I
Notice the thoughtful music in the background from the Boston Globe, the piano solo.
needed to make sure that people understood who I am. So as I entered my high school years,
I think we understand who you are now. Priceless that the Boston Globe featured this guy. That just makes everything come full circle. Oh, I just had the story from clicked off of it. I was looking for it, but it's gone. Mayor Wu. Here it is here. Apparently, Mayor Wu knew both of these people. Let's bring that story up.
She knows both of these workers, and tonight she says they are off the job during the investigation.
Obviously, the allegations are incredibly disturbing.
Boston Mayor Michelle Wu.
There she's got the baby, always with the baby. maybe if I hold the baby, the media won't ask me difficult questions.
Reacting to the arrest of 2 city officials overnight.
It is never okay to harm a police officer or to harm another member of our community.
26-year-old Marwa Khudaynazar is accused of assaulting a police officer after she called police to her boyfriend's Chinatown apartment. Both she and her boyfriend, Chulan Huang, are also accused of assaulting each other. She's the chief of staff for the city's Office of Police.
That's the webpage that has now been deleted from the Boston.gov website.
Accountability, and he's the neighborhood business manager for the city's Economic Development Office.
She made $83,000 last year. He made about $70,000. I think her salary annualized actually is going to be more than 83 because she only got a position as the chief of staff of the Police Accountability Office in October. And that's how these two stories that we're going to talk about coming up in just a second are tied together.
According to a police report, Marwa told officers her boyfriend had cheated on her, so she went on a date with his boss earlier that evening, and when she got back to his apartment, he took her phone and her car keys. The report says she told police he held onto her wrists and wouldn't let go, and I was biting him in self-defense. Marwa was accused of hitting an officer as she blocked a door, and both city workers allegedly told police where they worked. Marwa's boyfriend accused of saying, "We both work for the city. This is unnecessary."
It is a privilege to be able to serve the public, and we are all also human beings, but at the same time, our behavior has to match the standards that we need to hold all of our city workers to.
So that sounds like a privilege they're not going to have too much longer, having just literally been erased from the City Hall website, literally erased from the City Hall website. Now, very important, and to tie this into the next story, again, she, up until yesterday, was the chief of staff for the Police Accountability Department. And why is that so important? Because according to Universal Hub, a Boston police officer who has been accused of swatting another Boston police officer has had their service weapon taken away from them unless they are on duty, according to Universal Hub. A Suffolk Superior Court judge has ordered a Boston cop who works in District E13 in JP to surrender any personal guns and to leave her department-issued gun in a secure location somewhere at the BPD when she leaves work for the day. Another Boston cop pursues a lawsuit against her and the city for alleged false emergency 911 call. Judge Boudreau agreed that Officer Malika McQuaid has legitimate concerns about her and her family's safety. He rejected her request to declare Mariana Oliva unfit or dangerous to possess a gun. Still, Boudreau ordered Oliva to stay 1,000 feet away from McQuaid's home and at least 100 feet from McQuaid and herself. Also, if she needs to travel through Roslindale while working as a police officer, she can only do so while in the presence of another Boston police officer. So here in this case, if this is summarized, we have two women. One is both of whom are police officers, and one of whom I think swatted allegedly the other. Why would you swat another police officer? Why would a woman police officer swat another woman police officer? Why would that happen? And here are the accusations. Allegations. In a March 23 incident, somebody named Sandy called 911 to report that McQuaid was suffering from postpartum suicidal thoughts and had guns inside her house. Sandy did not mention that McQuaid was herself a cop. So why would you say postpartum suicidal thought? And why in the world would you call the cops on another cop, allegedly falsely, because apparently there was nothing going on. There was nothing nefarious. They were roughly 20 minutes later, the supervisor radioed that the family is all set and okay, and asked the dispatcher, do we have the telephone number for the person who made the call? The person believes somebody's pranking or something, but is to be further investigated. In other words, like, is this some other type of disagreement between these two police officers? What is the nature of that disagreement? Allegedly, what caused one police officer to allegedly swat another in Boston? And now remember that the chief of staff of the Police Accountability Office is now suspended without pay. So, yeah, it just gets thicker and thicker. By the way, Adam over at Universal Hub, all credit to him. He reported this story originally in April of this year. And the lawsuit is pending between these two officers and the city.